6 American soldiers are dead. A drone found them in the dark, in a location that wasn't supposed to be known. Someone told it exactly where to look. February 28, 2026. The United States and Israel launch a coordinated air campaign against Iran. Operation Epic Fury. Over 50,000 American troops mobilized. 2 aircraft carriers cutting through the Persian Gulf. More than 200 fighter jets in the sky simultaneously. The objective: destroy Iran's ballistic missile infrastructure. The shield behind their nuclear program. The strikes are devastating, precise, strategic. For the first 48 hours, America dominates. Then something shifts. Iranian drones that were missing their targets start hitting them. Radar stations go dark. Communication towers fall. A makeshift base in Kuwait, a location not on any public map, takes a direct hit. 6 U.S. service members are killed. Several more wounded. Pentagon analysts stare at their screens. These strikes are too accurate, too deliberate, too Russian. Because here's what nobody was supposed to find out. Vladimir Putin had quietly entered the war. Not with tanks, not with missiles, with satellites. The war begins at dawn. American-B stealth bombers, launched from Diego Garcia, cross into Iranian airspace undetected. Simultaneously, USS Harry S. Truman and USS Carl Vinson launch their first wave of F-A-18 Super Hornets. Tomahawk cruise missiles erupt from destroyers across the Gulf. The Zagros Mountains light up. Iran is blindsided. But somewhere over Central Asia, quiet, invisible, 300 miles above the Earth, a Russian Persona-class reconnaissance satellite makes its first pass over the Persian Gulf. Its optical sensors resolve objects smaller than a dinner plate from orbit. It photographs the exact position of both American carriers. The image is transmitted to a secure server. Within the hour, that image is no longer Russian. Iran begins firing back. Shape 136 loitering munitions. The same Iranian drones Russia deployed for years against Ukrainian cities swarm outward, hundreds at a time. Cheap, expendable, overwhelming. But these aren't flying blind. American analysts notice something immediately wrong. The drones aren't spraying randomly, hoping to find a target. They're vectoring, turning, adjusting mid-flight, heading directly toward radar installations and command post, the exact infrastructure that makes U.S. air defense function. They're going after command and control. One expert would later tell NBC News, they're making very precise hits on early warning radars and over-the-horizon systems. The Pentagon's air defense network starts burning interceptors. Every Patriot missile fired to knock down a $20,000 drone cost over $3 million. The math is catastrophic, and the drones keep coming. By sunrise on March 1st, the scale of Russia's involvement is crystallizing inside classified briefings at Langley. Russia has been providing Iran with intelligence about the locations and movements of American troops, ships, and aircraft. Much of what Moscow shared came from its sophisticated constellation of overhead satellites. Iran's own space program is virtually non-existent. Iran has only a small number of military satellites, and no constellation of its own, which makes imagery from Russia's far more advanced space capabilities extraordinarily valuable, particularly as the Kremlin has honed its own targeting precision. After years of grinding war in Ukraine, in other words, Putin didn't just hand Iran a weapon, he handed Iran eyes. American warships operating under strict emissions control, running dark, minimizing radar, signatures, doing everything by the book, were being photographed from space and their coordinates handed directly to Iranian targeting officers. The CIA station inside the U.S. Embassy in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, one of the most hardened American intelligence facilities in the entire Middle East, takes a direct hit, no warning, no chance to respond. Someone knew exactly where it was. The White House is furious, but the response is calculated. When a reporter asks President Trump about Russia feeding coordinates to Iran, he dismisses it. That's an easy problem compared to what we're doing here. What a stupid question. But behind closed doors, it is anything but stupid. The Pentagon is rapidly burning through its supply of precision arms and air defense interceptors, underscoring concerns raised by senior U.S. generals long before this war began. CBS News. Iran is not winning the conventional fight, not even close. American and Israeli strikes have already hit over 2,000 Iranian targets, ballistic missile launch sites, naval vessels, command bunkers. The Iranian Navy is being described as combat ineffective, but Russia has found a way to keep Iran dangerous without firing a single Russian bullet. Every satellite pass is a new set of targeting data. Every targeting data package is another precise Iranian drone strike. And every drone strike is costing American lives and draining American ammunition. This is the invisible war inside the visible war. 6,000 miles away, in KYV. A man who knows exactly how Russia fights is watching everything with cold recognition. President Volodymyr Zelensky. He's seen this playbook before. Zelensky shares intelligence confirming Russia photographed a U.S. air base in Saudi Arabia 3 times before Iran attacked. If they make images once, they are preparing. Second time, it's a simulation. Third time, they will attack. Do they help Iranians? 100%. 3 pauses, 3 photographs, then the base gets hit. Zelensky has watched Russia do this to Ukrainian targets for years. The reconnaissance pattern, the deliberate cadence, the surgical strike. Now America is experiencing it firsthand. Here's the bitter irony. Interceptor missiles that could protect U.S. forces in the Gulf were originally headed to Ukraine. Zelensky warns Washington, don't pull missile defense systems from Ukraine to cover the Gulf. That's exactly what Putin wants. He's trying to help the same country that is now being targeted by his enemy's satellites. No one in Washington seems to fully absorb that yet. Intelligence analysts piece together the full picture. Iranian attacks resemble Russia's air campaign against Ukraine. Swarms of drones hitting infrastructure, followed by precision ballistic missiles. Iranian strikes have visibly improved, even compared to their war with Israel. They are, in one analyst's words, getting through air defenses. This isn't coincidence. This is curriculum. Russia didn't just share satellite images. Russia transferred doctrine. The 3-year partnership between Moscow and Tehran has graduated into something far more dangerous. Iran is now fighting America using Russian tactics, Russian targeting intelligence, and Russian-designed weapons. One U.S. official describes Russia's support as a pretty comprehensive effort, including satellite data that helps Iran identify specific bases, military personnel locations, and logistics flows, the locations of warships, the positions of aircraft, the coordinates of radar systems, the timing windows when U.S. air patrols are thinnest, all of it flowing from orbit to Tehran. Then comes the strike that changes the calculus entirely. A U.S. air base in Saudi Arabia. Prince Sultan Air Base, the hub of American air operations, is hit. Russia had photographed the base 3 times in the preceding days. The strike wounded several American service members, though none of the injuries were considered life-threatening this time. But the message is unmistakable. Russia's satellites have now successfully guided Iranian munitions to a fortified American installation. If the next strike carries a larger warhead, or a different drone swarm, the casualty count changes completely. Senior Pentagon officials begin asking the question no one wants to ask out loud. What happens when Russia shares the location of a carrier, the USS Harry S. Truman, 5,000 crew members, 75 aircraft, the most powerful conventional weapon ever built? Russia's satellite and targeting data has fundamentally changed the nature of naval warfare in the Persian Gulf. Data has become a weapon, systematic, deliberate, and visible. A carrier is not invincible. It never was. But it was always assumed that no adversary could find it precisely enough, fast enough, to threaten it with conventional weapons. Russia just removed that assumption, and Moscow is doing it publicly enough that America knows, but quietly enough that it cannot prove direct accountability. This is the genius of Putin's move. He is in the war. He is killing Americans, and he has maintained just enough deniability to prevent the conflict from formally expanding to include Russia. Democratic Senator Jeanne Shaheen says it plainly. Make no mistake, Russia is targeting Americans in the Middle East, Ukraine, and around the world. The White House insists it isn't making a difference. The body bags say otherwise. Here is what the press briefings aren't covering. Russia is not doing this out of loyalty to Iran. Moscow doesn't love Tehran. A senior Russian source says it plainly. The escalation in and around Iran and the Gulf is already diverting attention from the war in Ukraine. That's just a fact. This was never about Iran. This was about Ukraine. Every American interceptor missile fired at an Iranian drone over Kuwait is a missile. That doesn't go to KYV. Every American logistics chain stretched thin across the Persian Gulf is a logistics chain pulled away from NATO's eastern flank. Every American political conversation consumed by Operation Epic Fury is a conversation not happening about Russian territorial gains in eastern Ukraine. Putin played a long game. He built up Iran's drone program for 3 years, supplied the technology, trained the operators, and when the moment came, he quietly handed Tehran a targeting system that America had no counter to without exposing Russia directly. He turned Iran into a proxy weapon aimed at American blood and made it look like Iranian initiative. And now there are whispers in Washington about something even darker. U.S. intelligence has evidence that China may be preparing to provide financial assistance to Iran, as well as supply spare parts and missile components. If China enters, even economically, even indirectly, the calculus changes completely. America would be fighting Iran on the ground, Russia in the electromagnetic spectrum, and China in the supply chain, simultaneously, across the most volatile stretch of ocean on Earth. This complex geopolitical chess game has profound implications for global stability. The White House says Iran is being absolutely crushed. Ballistic missile strikes are down 90%. Iran's navy is gone. Its missile production capacity is being systematically demolished. Operation Epic Fury, by every visible metric, is working, but 6 American service members are already dead, killed by an Iranian drone, guided by a Russian satellite, funded by 3 years of quiet partnership forged in the skies over Ukraine. The question isn't whether America is winning the battle against Iran. The question is, what war is America actually in? Because Vladimir Putin is not on any battlefield in this conflict. He has not fired a single shot at an American soldier. He will deny everything. His foreign minister already has. And yet American troops are dying with Russian precision. This is the new face of great power competition. Not World War II. Not the Cold War. Something new. Something that lives in the gap between war and peace, in orbit in fiber optic cables and encrypted data packets bouncing between Moscow and Tehran at the speed of light. The United States has never fought anything quite like this. And the most dangerous part, it's only week 2.